Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. How are you guys? So, you want to learn how to make a killer self tape that's going to get you work over and over and over again out into the future exponentially. Well, you've come to the right place. Well, first up, guys, you want to give yourself a round of applause for turning up on a morning like this. How are you doing? How are you? Good morning, Andrea. How are you? Lovely to see you. I'm amazed anyone's here at all. It's so beautiful out there in Ireland at the moment. Hey, Brian, how are you doing? Good to see you. How are things over there? Nice to see you. How's Kerry, Brian? Is it good? Hi, Andrea. How you doing? So, guys, you are the dedicated few. You are amazing. Right. So, what we're going to do, I'm going to kick off today about four things I'm going to give you today. Four things are going to give you real sort of cutting edge in terms of how you handle your self tapes. The first thing I'm going to call MBD, which is really simple, just stands for Make Bold Decisions. And why would I say that? Well, when I do a lot of coaching, as you know, I coach a lot of people now, I talk to them about their self tapes. And one of the things that comes up as an absolute constant all the way through, it's stunning in Kerry. That's very good to know. Thanks, Brian. So it really, really, really helps to know is what it is that people are thinking about. Emily, good morning. Good morning. Ah, finally, welcome. How lovely. You have a channel set up so you can finally comment. Brilliant. Excellent. We'll talk about YouTube and how we can use that a lot later on as well. That's going to be something I'm going to cover. We've all got to get onto YouTube, guys. There's a reason for it. I'll tell you about it soon. Okay, so MBD, make bold decisions. When I talk to people, one of the things that comes up is that they say, when they're actually in the audition room or if they're doing their self-taping. Good morning, Dave. How are you doing? That when they're in the audition or in their self-taping, it feels like it's a performance. They know they've got the lights on them. They can sense it. They can see the real camera and the real other actors that they're working with, and it feels absolutely real. And that when they're in the kind of doing self-taping at home, it feels like, what's the point? Not quite sure. Morning, Indra. Morning, Arlene. Good morning. It feels like a little bit less important. So the energy goes down a bit. I've certainly known that. And when your brain is kind of taken up with how you handle all of this, you've got to put up the cameras and the lights and the this and the that. It's easy to get distracted from what you're trying to do, which is focus on your performance, because the performance is the thing that's going to do the work for you, right? Camera's not going to do the work for you. It's the performance. So when you give yourself a bold decision before a self-tape, what this does is it sets in mind, the brain gets kicked into the idea of this is a really important thing for me to be doing. And so if you say to yourself something along the lines of, I'm going to make a bold decision, instead of saying, oh, I've got a self-tape coming up, I don't really want to do it. Or instead of saying, I've got a self-tape, I'm really anxious about it. Try and give yourself something that's a bold decision, something brave, something that stands out. I'm going to commit to making this the best self-tape I have ever been able to create. And do this ahead of time. You can say it right now. The next self-tape that I'm going to do will be the best self-tape I've ever done, ever. Make a bold decision. And those of you who followed me on Breakthrough to Success, which we'll come and talk about that a bit later, will understand the purpose behind this. It's very important that you start to send signals to your unconscious that something important is coming. It raises the level of necessity. That's what we're trying to do here, okay? So make bold decisions. Very, very, very important. That means when you get there to actually do, let's say you get your self-tape on the Monday, you've got to deliver it by the Friday. Usually what most people do is they go, okay, I've got the sides, got to learn them, I've got to get through this, I'm going to learn it, quick, grab a friend, get a camera, a cup of tea, press send, boom, gone, right? We've all been there, we've all done it, okay? First thing, make a bold decision what you're going to do with your self-tape. I commit to making a bold decision. I'm going to make this really important for me. This is going to be the best self-tape I can do. I'm going to raise my level of performance in this self-tape. I'm going for more. I'm demanding more of myself in this self-tape. Something that works for you, that raises your level of energy, that raises your expectation, that raises your expectancy about what it is that you can create. Make sense? Any questions? Pop them in there. So think ahead of time. Then you won't get caught out. The next one I'm going to talk about is something we talked about before, which is the permission stamp. This is so important. So, have I said it enough times? So important. Again, this is coming from coaching. This is coming from when I actually do the work with actors. And what I find out is that often if they haven't got a job, if it didn't work well, what happens is that they kind of, they talk about their self-tapings and they say that they doubt their performance, they worry about it, they have a kind of anxiety about it, or there's a frustration about it, or sometimes even irritation with it. They don't really want to be doing it because they've got better things to be doing. Honestly, this is what people say. So underneath it, they kind of get away from the idea that actually, a self-tape can change your life. That's what it can do, right? It really can. It's that good. It's that amazing an opportunity. That's how cool it could be, right? And when I kind of dive deeper into what's going on behind all this, it's often that people don't want to do something. They don't feel like it's the time, or they're not really connected to it. Can you relate to that? Let me know in the comments. Can you relate to any of that? Slightly kind of thinking, well, I'm not sure about this one, or I'm not, an anxiety or a worry or a doubt, or something creeps in that's a little bit negative, something like that. Can you relate to that? Let me know. You want to release yourself. You want to give yourself permission to do whatever it is that you need to do. Often what holds us back is, I really want to be, to express myself with abandon, but I feel that I can't. Or I really want to be confident, but I'm a little tentative today. You need to, dragging your heels, Brian. Exactly. Dragging your heels. This is what the brain does. I'm emphasizing this because it's so important. The brain always, whenever there's something important coming up, the first default position of the brain will be, because the brain is there to protect you. Your mind will protect you. So you're going to have to move through that level of resistance to get to the next level. And the way you do that is you give yourself a permission stamp. Give yourself permission to do it. Okay? Something along the lines of it can be, I give myself permission to succeed. I give myself permission to have a great self-tape. I give myself permission to have a wonderful experience. I give myself permission to really, reveal this character. Get the idea? When you give yourself permission at the unconscious level, which is what you want to do, and the more you practice this, the better it becomes. You can use this for, giving yourself permission to, to be calmer in a row. I give myself permission to be calm in a row. I give myself permission to be, charming to people in the petrol station, whatever it might be, right? Something like that. Giving things away now. But do you know what I'm saying? You can give yourself permission to be comfortable swimming. You can give yourself permission to be good at yoga. Give yourself permission. Now, Sean, what's Sean saying? Sean saying, can definitely relate to negative feelings. Yes, absolutely. On the verge of not doing a self-tape for a big show, felt overwhelmed. Had a talk with myself and actually got the job. The talking with yourself is so critical. I cannot emphasize that enough. When you hear, the brain kicks in with the self-doubt, like Sean's was talking there. The brain kicks in with the self-doubt. That's going to happen. That happens all the time. Exactly. It obliterates the negative feeling. And even if you're worried about it, you can say, I hear that there is some self-doubt going on. I can recognize that I'm feeling, worry about this, but I give myself permission to succeed anyway. I give myself permission to be a success. And when you give yourself that permission inside, it releases you. Okay? You can use that to directly communicate with your unconscious. This is the other thing that most of us don't do. Sean just absolutely hit it. Talking with yourself. If you're feeling, I'm feeling a bit stressed about this self-tape. I don't know what it is that I'm doing. I don't fully understand the character. Whatever's going on, you can say, yeah, I hear that. I hear what you're saying. I can understand what you're saying here. And can I also ask you to help me and support me in delivering this self-tape? And what I wish to do is to give myself a permission to be successful. Can you go ahead and do that? And that gives you another bold decision as well. Okay, see how these layer on? So a bold decision and a permission stamp together work really well. Sian is late. Oh my goodness. I think what should we do? Let's just give her the air horn. What can we say, Sian? Nice to see you. Hope the animals are well. So, what else can I say? Yes, I wanted to just remind you, any of you guys who are out there, people I know, like say Sean hasn't, Arlene hasn't. Emily had one. That's right. Andreas had one. Yeah, if you want to have the free calls, they're still available. Come onto the site, jump on over, and we can chat through whatever it is that you want to talk through in terms of your career. So the next thing, yes, I've got the masterclass is coming up fairly soon. That's going to be happening soon. So I'd love you guys if you're interested in that. At the end of this, I'm going to put the links in the text underneath, and please do share this stuff. It really helps me to share this with any friends of yours who might be interested, because it's my mission. As you know, my mission is to end suffering for actors. There's so much needless suffering that's going on in the world out there. I cannot tell you, and it's needless. It really doesn't have to happen. Well, there are ways around all this stuff. So that's what I want to do. That's my goal. So I'd love it if you would help me share that. Share these videos and like and subscribe and all that stuff. It really does help. It raises your the profile in the algorithm of YouTube. The other one, oh yeah, anyone who hasn't, I know Brian has, anyone who hasn't given me the self-tape, if you want to do the self-tape for, not the self-tape, sorry, the testimonial for Breakthrough to Success, just a 1 minute, 2 minute one, pop that in there and you get the whole training. And it's going to be fantastic. And I've just created it. It's going to be ready this week. So whoever wants to have that, just if you haven't done it, just drop me a little 1 minute testimonial and that'll be great, and I'll send it all to you. You get the whole 9 hours, and it's really powerful stuff and builds on all the stuff that we're doing here, and you get it for free, which means you can have it for life. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I want to go back over something that we talked about during that, which was the 22 by 11, because I know who here has done that. Has anyone had a go at the 22 by 11? Anyone had a go? Just let me know if you've had a go. Let me say, and how many days did you get to? And that's what I want to know, because what usually happens when I put this out as a challenge to people, it's okay, you got to do this 11 days straight. That's what it is. That's the 11. And for 22 times, you're going to write out the predominant negative thought that's coming up. Let's say you have a negative belief about, I'm not good at self-taping, or if you have, I don't deserve success, or I can't really get my energy up for this, or whatever your particular belief is, or I'm not good enough is a huge one for actors. That I would say that would be a common belief in 90% of the actors that I coach. The idea that at some level they think or feel or believe that they are not good enough. Whether that's not good enough to perform, whether it's not good enough to deserve success, whether it's not good enough to, to get up to the next level, whether they're not good enough to, move from television into film, whether they're not good enough to get into a, become a series regular, whatever the breaks are, the gaps, or where it is that they want to go, there's usually something in there which is relating to, I'm not good enough to succeed or to move to the next level, something like that. 22 by 11 will start to really detonate that belief and remove it. The way you do it, let me just remind you, you take a series of cards or just a piece of paper, but you must write it down. You can't just, think it. You have to write it, and there's a reason for that. When you write it down, let's say you write down, I'm not good enough to succeed, or let's say we're talking about self-tapes, I'm not good enough to get, um, uh, I'm not good enough to get good results from my self-tapes. Okay, whatever your particular belief is, very important. It's personal to you. You know, don't just do I'm not good enough if you don't feel that. But you will have something that you feel that you know is a major block in relation to success. Whatever that is, feel that and start to write it down. Here's the example. I'm not good enough. You write it down once, and what happens is your brain will kick in with an answer. You're absolutely right. You're not good enough. Then you write it again 22 times. I'm not good enough. Yeah, well, it's true because the last time you went to the audition at the Abbey, you farted. I'm not good enough. Yes, that's right. Well, you didn't. You blew that one, didn't you? Let's notice that. And when you write it 22 times a day, 22 times, it takes a bit of time, it does, but it's so worth it because it really brings up, it's what I call doing the gardening. It brings out the weeds. It brings out these things that hold you back. 22 times per day for 11 days on the trot. And if you get to day 10 and you haven't finished it, you have to go back to the beginning. It is a challenge, it is a task, but it is really powerful. Anyone there had a go at it? Has anyone had a try? Brian went to day 8. That's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. Okay, so here we go. If you found, if you're interested, if you want to see what happens, start again. Do another one. Do something else and see what happens when you get to the 11th day. When you get to the 11th day, you will have a result that will give you extraordinary release and freedom in your mind, in your thinking. Really worth doing. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to do, I wanted to give you this before we have like a Q&A. We can do some more of that if that's helpful. I know you kind of like that sort of stuff. So, oh yeah, just to remind everyone who hasn't done Breakthroughs to Success, this is what it looks like. Breakthrough to Success is literally is a way that you can break through the 9 barriers that are there. And actually, I tell you what, any of you guys who turned up today who really would like this for free, I will give it to you as well because, I think it's an amazing day outside and I'll give it to you if anyone wants to do it. Now, Clive, I'll come back to that. That's really, really, really. I'll come back to that. Okay, so let me just go through this, okay? The 9 barriers, right? This is what I'm going to say. If anyone wants to do this today, if you want to get this free copy of this training, which is 9 hours long, you don't have to, it's not 9 hours. It's substantial training. It's going to cover the 9 barriers that I've discovered from working with actors: information, skill, belief, energy, other people, motivation, time, money, and fear. And it will take you through that. And if any of you here today, because it's such a nice day, if anyone wants to, if you want to send me in your a little testimonial, like a 1 or 2 minute testimonial, that would be wonderful. And I'll give you the free training. Clive, I want to come back to that because you've just hit something so powerful. Brian got as far as day 8, okay? And Clive, do you mind if I share this? Clive has said, I went to day 4, found it actually annoyed me, made me feel sad that I thought those things about myself. Absolutely bang on the right track. Absolutely bang on the right track. When you keep going through this stuff, you don't, what you see, once you come out the other side, it's so easy to do. If I could give you an example of my own, so that you know to expect disruption, expect a bit of chaos, expect a bit of destruction, right? This is what's going on at the unconscious level. When you start to say, I'm not good enough. Yeah, Arlene was a bit like Clive too. We're meant to be focused on positive or the negative. Yeah, I'll come back to that too. So just going back to Clive, right? Day 4 found it annoyed me, made me feel sad. That's okay. It's absolutely okay. You need to give yourself a permission stamp to feel those feelings. What's happening is the analogy I use is like if you imagine the garden right? And there's these wonderful plants, and these plants are all over the place, and they're sort of strangling. The weeds are strangling the plants. What you're doing, Clive, with that is that the weeds are the old beliefs that are sort of held around like that. When you start to do the 22 by 11, you start to pull out some of these beliefs, right? And you stop strangling yourself at the unconscious. And the unconscious goes, sadness may come up because that's what you might have been feeling. That's absolutely fine. And it's okay to feel those feelings. Whatever you do, it's okay. When you keep moving through the process and do it again, that's when the light starts to come through. There's nothing wrong with feeling fear, feeling anxiety, worry, upset, sadness, depression, jealousy, pain, suffering, all of that stuff. If you think about it, I'll give you the analogy again. You've heard this many times. When we're little babies, we're tiny babies, we're this little pearl, this pearl of genius, this pearl of beauty. That's what we are. When you look into the eyes of a newborn baby, we feel this incredible connection. They're just energy. As we grow, as we go through life, we go to school, our parents, peers, everything, we start to realize there are things we can't do. We have to do this, we can't do that, we mustn't do this, we shouldn't do that. And what we do is we start to, on top of this little glorious pearl, we start slapping on the horse shit, all the horse shit of the BS, of the bad belief systems. BS, okay? The belief systems, the BBS, bad belief systems, okay? Like that. And then because we go through life like this now, then what happens is we start to put the nail varnish on top of it all. And we go, oh, this is who I am, this is what I do. And so, Clive, what you were doing was literally the 22 by 11 is chipping away at the nail varnish. That's what it's doing. And then underneath it will be some of the horseshit. And when you start to release that, some of the sadness will come up. Some of the rage will come up. Some of the frustration will come up. Some of the jealousy will come up. Some of the pain will come up. But you know what? It will be released. That's what's on the other side. I promise you. If you feel bad, that's exactly where you're supposed to be. But keep going through it. Then you will start to realize the bliss, the joy that's out there for you. Because once you let those old weeds go, you can live in a completely different universe. You really can. So Arlene was saying, yeah, a bit like Clive, I wasn't sure if I was meant to be focusing on positive or the negative thought. You're supposed to focus on the negative thought. The idea is that you focus on the negative thought and then the brain will kick in. Negative thought, brain kicks in. Negative thought, brain kicks in. The deeper down you go, you've got to do this 22 times. Okay? The reason we do that is because we're literally going from the conscious surface level of the prefrontal cortex here. And as you write the 22, we go down deeper into the unconscious. And the more you go down, the more you'll begin to release all of that shite and onions, as James Joyce called it. Shite and onions. That's what it is. Let's release the shite and onions, boys. That's what you can do. The benefit of this is that you will be free from this stuff. You won't have it hanging around you. Can you imagine a life without feeling that sort of level of sadness, Clive? Can you imagine, Arlene, a life without all of that stuff? Who would you be without all of that? Think of it that way. Sean had no sound or video till now. Or video. Oh, right. Okay. I'm sorry about that. So it is working, Sean. So whatever's going on, I'm afraid, is at your end. Hopefully you'll be able to find it. So that's where we want to talk about that. Okay. Does that help about that? Does that give you a better understanding? So that it is a process that is supposed to be challenging. It is supposed to be a little bit painful. Does that, Arlene, what was that? Arlene says, I. I. Okay, I. Okay, I can do that too. I. Yes. I. Were you writing something else? So does that make sense? Do you understand? So if you're suffering through something, if it feels difficult, all I can say is keep going, guys, because the other side of this, there's something much more beautiful and really rather fabulous. Okay, it really releases it. Makes sense. Deaf. Give it a go. Absolutely excellent. That's great. I'm thrilled. Give it a go. Arlene, if you want to kind of like, drop me a line about it, just let me know how it's going. If you get confused, just write to me. Okay, peakactors@me.com. No problem with that. Okay. The final thing I wanted to do was a little, I just wanted to give you this as something as a little bonus, really. It's just a way that you can prepare for any kind of a self-tape. I find this is very beneficial in terms of getting like you can be, oh, I've got a self-tape and I'm thinking about the past. Have I got something in the oven? Am I going to get the job here? Will I be in Las Vegas next year? And your brain's all over the place. This is a great way to just center yourself. And if you'd like to do it with me, as long as you're not driving a car, you can do that with me. So cheers. I have a glass of water, then we do this. This is just an easy way to focus yourself and center yourself before you begin a self-tape. Exactly, Clive. Pushing through is exactly what it's going to be like. Again, the brain will do the resistance, okay? The brain will be resisting and holding back, because it's, oh, I'm feeling a bit of pain. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Oh, and then it'll release. And when you have that release, then you'll be feeling a lot better, I can assure you. Feel those feelings. It's okay. You see, if you've given yourself a hard time for a long period of time, the brain is going, oh, hold on a minute, I've lived with this for a long time. But look, you don't believe in Santa anymore, do you? Right? There are other beliefs you can let go. Why don't you let go of the belief that you're not good enough? What if I said to you now, all of you are good enough? That's a fact. You are not broken. You are capable of absolutely everything your heart desires. You are perfect exactly the way you are. You're not broken. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do a little bit of focusing, okay? This is the first off, we're going to start with what I call the 3-breath process. A lot of you have done that, and if you haven't, what we do is we breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth to the sound ha. And this is just expelling everything in there. That's the first thing we're going to do. Just a reminder not to be driving while you do this, okay? So breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth to the sound ha. Really sigh out. That's right. That's really good. One more time. And now allow yourself to close your eyes and just go inside for a moment. And just go inside. And inside, close your eyes again. I know they're already closed on the inside, but close them again. And now become aware of the sounds that you can hear. The prevalent sounds, the most prevalent sounds that you can hear. Maybe the sound of my voice, traffic outside, central heating, whatever. And now the subtle sounds. The subtle sounds. The door creaking, whatever it is. And now become aware of what you're feeling. The most prevalent feeling will touch. You can feel your clothes against your skin, your bum in the chair, and the subtle feelings too. And even though your eyes are closed, focus on your sight, what you can see, the most powerful image you can see. And that may be just blackness. That's okay. But you might see little dancing flickers. That's okay too. And now focus on taste. You can just taste what's going on inside. Focusing on the taste. And now the smell. The most prevalent smell. And the subtle smells. Now we're going to put all of these 5 senses together. The sound of hearing, one on top of the other, layering on top. Sound of hearing, touch, sight, taste, and smell. As you focus in the moment. And at this point, you can make a bold decision. And give yourself permission to succeed. And now, in your own time, you can gradually come back into the room. Just notice how that is. Just have a little stretch if you need to. That's all cool. How was that, guys? How was that? How did we experience that? How was that? See, this is the bit where you write down and say, well, it was like this, Nick. I kind of did this, and well, I felt a bit funny then, and then I did that. And that's what you do now. Can we agree on that? This is what we call yes. This is what we call no. And this is what we call maybe. So if there's anything in there you want to ask about that or anything else we've touched on today, let's have some Q&A. Anything in there that you're not sure about? Brian, absolutely. Thank you. Check it out. That gets you so focused. Imagine starting everything like that. Enjoy that? Thank you, Indra. Check that out. Just use that little thing there before you do your next self-tape. Nicey nice. Now you feel grounded. Excellent. So nicey nice. Grounded. It's a really cool thing to do. Thank you, Arlene. Brilliant. Very focusing. Absolutely. That's a great way. It's an NLP thing we call come to your senses. Lose your mind and come to your senses. Okay? When you come to your senses and focus in on what you want to do, you stay much more in the moment. So when you start with a bold decision and you give yourself permission to do what you need to do, bingo, jingo. Right? Now you can play. Now you can perform. Now you can do what you really want to do. Okay? So, anyone else? Any questions? I'm glad you feel grounded. That's absolutely exactly what I want you to feel, is that sense of, it's a great way of just getting yourself into the right headspace before you start the self-tape, before you, do your audition. You can do it on the tube, on the dart, on the way in. You can do it in the car, not while you're driving, caveat. When you park by the road, just focus yourself, give yourself that. Bing. Real simple. 3 breaths, and then we're going to go through all the senses. Doesn't really matter which order. Lose your mind, come to your senses, exactly. Hearing, touch, sight, taste, smell. Really focuses you in. And then you can make a bold decision, give yourself permission to succeed at whatever you want to do. Sound good? Okay. So just a reminder, anybody here who's here today, if you drop me in a little testimonial, 1 to 2 minutes, something like that, real quick, I will give you a free copy of Breakthrough to Success, which we'll be selling for €97. So well worth it. So there you go, guys. Any other questions while we're here? And what I'm going to be doing on Wednesday, we're going to be talking about performance. So again, if any of you guys got any questions or anything you want me to do that you think I haven't covered for a while, after we finish the self-taping on Wednesday, I might do another one about the performance on Friday. And then the week after that, I thought, as we're all still here, if you guys are still interested and you want to keep coming, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing a series of things that are going to help us with all the kind of issues that often come up for actors, like motivation, habits that we can use to do that, how successful people think, how to behave, how to believe in yourself, how to 10x your productivity, that kind of thing. I'm going to also show you the 6 hats technique, which is the Edward de Bono, which is real cool. And if there's anything about, I'm going to talk about if you struggle with anxiety and how to stop overthinking and all those kind of things. So if there's anything like that that you want me to cover, drop me a line, peakactors@me.com. And I look forward to seeing you all on Wednesday. And do tell. Andrea says, I've just signed up for a self-tape session with the Actors Guild where a casting gives feedback and I have to choose the piece. Should I just choose a piece that I enjoy? If it's for, yeah, why not? Yes. No, choose one you hate. I would choose something, absolutely. Choose a piece that you enjoy, something that you love, something you feel comfortable with, something you feel good about. Absolutely. As to say, someone was asking me the other day about how do you choose a monologue? How do you choose a Shakespeare monologue? The same thing is real. Yeah, Sean, we're going to cover you. You will be covered. Overthinking, we'll get onto that. Real simple. That is a great way. What we just did is a great way to stop yourself overthinking. Literally, that particular process we just learned. Do that. It's cool. Okay. Sean, if you want a copy of this, as I say, drop me a little testimonial. You get the whole thing free. So that's where we're at. Anything else, guys? Anything before we pop off? Yeah. Great. Well, really good to see you all again. Lovely. And I hope you're all feeling well. And we'll see you on Wednesday. And do tell your friends. Please spread the word and share this with people. It really helps me and gets the word out. And you'll be part of the mission to help end suffering for actors. Cheers, guys. Bye now.